What does it mean to leave everything you've ever known and move to a place where no one pronounces your name right? My name is Tarek Eid, but where I live in London, my name is Tarek Eid. And believe me, that is not what my parents intended my name to be. Today, I'd like to share with you the story of how being Lebanese, and more specifically a Lebanese immigrant, with all its pride, humor, and heartbreak, has shaped not only my identity, but also gave me the strength to pass one of the hardest exams in the world, and to thrive in spaces where I once felt invisible. It's a story about loss, heritage, faith, and being a chameleon, constantly adapting without ever losing sight of who you are. Leaving Lebanon was not a choice that I made lightly. I left behind my family, my friends, my home, my sense of self, and everything I had ever known. I moved to a place where no one looks like me, no one speaks my language, and no one resembles me in any way, shape, or form. But I also left behind instability, uncertainty, and the weight of a system that so often fails its own people. When you grow up in Lebanon, you quickly realize that life isn't simply about living. It's also about surviving and thriving in times of chaos, generating change for ourselves when no one will generate it for us. That also means we normalize. We normalize things that should not be normalized. But ironically enough, it helps us when we move abroad, because we quickly realize that the problems we're exposed to abroad are nothing compared to what we've been through in Lebanon. And that helped me when came the time to pass the bar exam, the gateway to my lifelong dream of becoming a lawyer. The hardest exam I would have to take in my life. I knew I would have to put my life on hold for a year in order to pass it. And I was ready for it. I didn't pass it under the easiest of circumstances. Family challenges led me to having to delay the process, and my revision period was in the midst of war in Lebanon. But I did pass it. And the reason I did is that I had been through so many tests before this one. Not academic tests, but the more important tests of life that Lebanon puts you through. When you've survived the second biggest non-nuclear explosion in the history of mankind, sitting the bar exam doesn't sound like such a big of a burden after all. Like we say in Arabic, min shit halna, we push through, we work hard, and we get the job done without any compromise and without any room for failure. But then I started wondering, what leads us to thrive so much abroad, with so much happening at home? What's the secret? Why are we Lebanese so good at doing this constantly? And I think my answer is threefold. We embrace our heritage, we have faith, and we become chameleons. Every time we move abroad, we adapt. We become new people, but at the same time, we embrace who we are. We never forget where we're from. And that's what I did. I moved to London. I started speaking English on a daily basis. I pretended that I understood their jokes and their humors. I did not understand anything they were saying at first, nor the way they were joking or having fun. It was so far from everything I knew. But I did it, and that's who we are. We blend in, we make space for ourselves. I think a second very important part is that we have faith. We don't necessarily have religious faith, but we have faith that somehow, some way, in some shape or form, things will fall back into place. So we grab that faith. We grab it with the strongest possible grip, and we stick to it. We get it with us in every room we enter, until the next challenge. Being in Jamhour actually helped me forge that faith. I remember the mandatory church sessions that I had to attend, short of which I would come on a Saturday morning for a retenue. But this helped. It helped me forge a faith that's still with me today in London, every day. And finally, we embrace our heritage, and we become resilient because of that. And God knows I hate that word. I despise it. I hate the fact that we have to be resilient in order to be Lebanese. But we do, and there's no use in denying it. Even when I did pass the bar, and people started calling me maître or counselor or estés, I knew those titles were built on the shoulders of my heritage. my mom who showed me grace under pressure, my dad who taught me dignity and perseverance, and my sister who never left my side. They were with me every step of the way. And they're with me today in this room. And so, if I look at them, I'm going to cry, so I'm not going to look at them. And so, that's my message to every Lebanese person, every Lebanese immigrant who's in a constant quest of striking a balance between who we are and who we've become. Never forget that we're Lebanese. Never stop talking about Lebanon. Never stop talking about Lebanon to the point where it becomes annoying to everyone around you. And never stop mentioning everywhere we go that we can ski and go to the beach on the same day. And so that's my message. Embrace your heritage. Have faith and become a chameleon. Adapt without ever losing sight of where you're from. Thank you.